So I've been doing a lot of Joe Dispenza meditations lately, and I had something really, really crazy happen to me today, and I had to hop on here and document it. For those of you who don't know who Joe Dispenza is, he is a man who teaches people how to rewire their subconscious minds through meditation and visualization. So basically, his theory is that if you don't like who you are, if you don't like your limiting beliefs, if you don't like the struggles in your life, if you don't like the challenges in your life, you can change those things through meditation, through mental rehearsal, through visualizing a different life for yourself. And you're basically rewiring your subconscious programming. You're rewiring yourself. You are essentially creating a new personality. You are becoming a different person with a better life, with better circumstances. And so I've done a bunch of his meditations in the past. I haven't always been very consistent with it. I'll do maybe a couple weeks of his meditations, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll get back into it, and I'll do one here and there. And I'm getting better at making it a more consistent pattern. And every time I do them, I feel a shift in myself. I feel different. I notice things changing and improving in my life. And it's very much like this. It's not like this, at least for me. That's been my experience. It's just been kind of, ups and downs. But I am getting better at it. And so today, it was just such a crazy experience, and I'll tell you what happened. So basically, the last couple of days I've been doing Joe Dispenza meditations where I'll close my eyes and I will take a bunch of deep breaths. They're guided meditations, so he guides you through the process. You take really deep breaths, you focus into different parts of your body, you really feel into the space inside your body. And after you get really relaxed and you get your brain waves to slow down, then you start visualizing what you would like to attract into your life. You start visualizing what you want your life to look like. And so for me, I really want to attract more love. I want to attract more peace. I want to attract more happiness, joy, success, abundance, confidence, all of that. I just want the most amazing life possible. And so that's exactly what I've been focusing on. And I'll ask myself when I do these meditations, I'll close my eyes and I'll ask myself, what does it feel like to feel love? What does it feel like to feel bliss? What does it feel like to feel free? And your mind is like a search engine. It's almost like Google. And when you ask your mind questions like that, like, what does it feel like to feel bliss? Your mind will comb through all the millions of pieces of data that it has stored up there. It will go through memories that you've had. It will go through movies you've seen. It will comb through stories you've heard, and it will piece together what it thinks bliss looks like and feels like. And so when I was doing these things, when I was asking, what does bliss feel like? What does love feel like? Certain images would pop up in my mind, certain scenarios that I was in, and I would just view them with my eyes closed. I would view them and imagine that I was there in those instances. So I would imagine myself walking through a forest and just feeling really calm and really just grounded and at peace. I would imagine myself at a party, at a lake house, sitting around a campfire with really good friends, me playing guitar, and just feeling really like in a high vibration, just feeling excited for my life, feeling a lot of love and gratitude. And so I would feel these emotions. I would, feel, what it would feel like to be in these scenarios. And the thing with me and emotions, my whole life, I feel like I've really restricted my emotions. I feel like I've been so analytically based my whole life. I've been so in my head my whole life. Like I've always been such a thinker, and I haven't really been much of a feeler. I think when I was a kid, I used to cry a lot, and I didn't like that feeling. I was very sensitive as a kid, and I think as I grew up, I still was that sensitive person deep inside, but I think I kind of buried that sensitivity because I was afraid to feel it. So I just got really in my head, and it wasn't until like 2016 I started seeing this energy worker. She was a woman who helped people to feel into their bodies. She helped them to feel trapped emotions. And it wasn't until I started seeing her that she told me, like, you are so checked out. Like, you don't feel your emotions. Like, you're so in your head. Like, you need to feel these emotions. And that's part of the manifestation process. That is something that is so overlooked. Like, people, I think, when it comes to law of attraction, they try to just focus on the thoughts, which is really powerful. But I think a missing component is the feelings, because we are emotional beings. We have so many feelings inside us that we are so blind to. Like, this society in 2026, we do not feel enough. Like, we are so in our heads. Like, how can you do these horrible things to people that you see on the news if you don't feel? Like, you have to be so checked out to do these horrible things to people, right? So, what I've been really focusing on lately is feeling more, because I think a big part of the manifestation process is it's feeling these heightened emotions of love and bliss and gratitude and peace, but it's also letting go of these trapped emotions of anger and sadness and fear that have been stuck in our bodies for so long. And I think that's one of the reasons subconsciously that people are so reluctant to do Joe Dispenza's work or manifestation work or healing or trauma work, is because they don't want to feel those emotions that they've stored in their body for so long. Like, when we experience trauma in our lives, when we experience heartbreak and sadness and loss, those emotions get stuck in our bodies, and they wreak havoc. They form these really negative loops and these really bad limiting beliefs that keep us trapped in this identity that we don't like. And so I'm very much aware of that, and I'm very much aware that, like, I have, just like everyone else, I have these trapped emotions in my body, and I need to feel them to heal them. I need to feel them to release them so that I can make room for higher feelings and emotions in my body, so that I can make room for more love and gratitude and peace and joy and bliss. I need to release those negative, lower vibration emotions. And so, going back to what happened that was so crazy. So I've been doing these meditations for a couple days, and I always feel really good when I get out of them. And then, I kind of go back to, like, so I'll do the meditation and I'll be in a high state for like an hour and a half, however long I decide to do the meditation for. And then, like, as soon as I come back to reality, it's like, oh, well, I still have all these problems in my life. I still have all these things I don't like. And, like, I feel myself getting, like, more stressed out throughout the day, depending on how much I focus on these problems. It's still, like I said, it's like this, man. It's a learning experience. Like, it is difficult to figure this stuff out, man, because it's not taught in school. You're going inside your brain, you're going inside your heart. These are uncharted territories that we don't explore enough of. It's a bumpy experience of bumping into yourself, looking at limiting beliefs and figuring out who you are and what you want and what you respond to emotionally. It's a rocky process, but it's so worth it in the end, because you come out a completely different person. You come out so much happier, so much more whole and fulfilled and loving. And so it's about keeping your eyes on the prize. And so, yeah, these meditations can be amazing. They can be hard, but it's important to stick with them. Anyway, sorry, I keep getting derailed. Going back to what happened. So yesterday I did my meditation. I went throughout my day. I went to bed, and last night I had this dream that I was at a family dinner, and there was a bunch of my family sitting around the table and a couple other people, and my family started pressing me on my eating choices. They started criticizing the way I was eating. And in my dream, I remember responding back to them in a very calm manner, defending the way I eat and the food I eat, saying that I believe in this style of eating. It served me well. I feel good eating this way. And in my dream, it felt good to defend myself and stand up for myself. And then in my dream, I got up from the table and I walked out of the room, and there on the floor was my 9-year-old daughter. And in my dream, she was more like around 7. And my daughter was laying on the floor, looking up at me in the most loving way, just with just pure love in her eyes. And I'm getting choked up now, even talking about it. But I woke up from my dream after seeing my daughter lying there on the ground, her eyes looking up at me, just so loving and pure. I woke up from my dream and I just started sobbing. Just laying in my bed, I just started crying so hard, just sobbing. And I don't know why. I don't know why I started crying, but I did. And I was just like, I don't cry a lot, man. Like I've really repressed my emotions for a long time. I really don't cry that much, but I just started sobbing, and it was just crazy. I'd never experienced anything like that in my life, and it felt like such a release. Like it was such a release of this emotion that was stored in my body. And as I was crying, I was also witnessing my mind trying to explain what was going on. I was watching my mind say, oh, you're crying because of this, and this is a release, and oh, this is good, or why am I crying? My mind was trying to figure it out, but I didn't get caught in the story. I just let it out. I didn't even have to force it. It was just like pouring out of me, just crying and crying and crying and crying. And at one point, as I was crying, I said out loud, my daughter was in the other room. She couldn't hear any of this, but, I said out loud, I said, I'm so sorry. And I said my daughter's name. I said, I'm so sorry for all the times I ignored you. I'm sorry for all the times that I haven't given you the attention that you need. I'm so sorry for all the times I wasn't there for you. And I'll admit, I haven't been the best father. I don't think there's any parent out there who will say that they're completely without fault, that they've never done anything wrong. I'm human too, man. I've made mistakes. I've never hit my child. I actually have 2 kids. I've never hit either of my children. But I haven't always been there for them emotionally. I've tuned them out. I've shut them out. I've ignored them before. I've snapped at them and yelled at them. And kids are just so loving. If you don't have kids, kids are just your biggest fan, man. They just smile when they see you. They want you to be happy. They'll always cheer for you. They're just unconditionally loving. And yeah, seeing her in my dream like that, man, it just got to me. And it was just like this flood of just release of just crying. And what I think it is, I've heard people that do this work, that do a lot of meditation, they say that they just have these somatic releases. People cry, they scream, their body will shake, they'll see colors, it's this energy in the body that's just being released. And I think that's what it was, and I cried for a good 5-10 minutes, and it was just really powerful. I've never had an experience like that in my entire life. It was just crazy, and I've been thinking about it all day, and I just wanted to record this video to let you guys know that this journey through, doing this Joe Dispenza work, or any type of journey where you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to become the best version of yourself, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be confusing. You're going to run up against yourself. You're going to come up against your limiting beliefs. But I think consistency is so important. It's doing it every day. It's showing up. It's being there for yourself. It's saying, you know what, today I'm going to just get 0.1% better. Just 0.1% better today. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if I don't want to do it, because it compounds over time. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more insights you have, the wiser you get, the more confident you get, the more you look forward to doing it because you see results in your life. Today was a huge confirmation that this work is working, that it's doing something to me on an emotional level, that it's changing me physiologically, mentally, emotionally. Like, I'm looking at myself in this video right now and I look different. Like, I just notice things like that. Like, and when I do this work for long enough periods of time, I walk differently, I talk differently, I do things that the old me wouldn't do. It's just, this work is so fascinating, man. And I'm just going to keep doing it. For those that were wondering, the meditation I've been doing is called Tuning into New Potentials. You can get it on Joe Dispenza's website. It's like an hour long, but you don't have to do an hour long. You can just do like 15 minutes a day, man. Even that, you'll start to see benefits from that. But that was just such a crazy experience, and I wanted to document that. So, yeah, I don't know. I just want to encourage everyone out there to strive to be the best version of yourself that you can be, whatever that looks like for you. We're all different. We all want different things. And it might take you some time to really realize who you want to be. What do you want out of life? Who do you want your character to be? What do you value? What emotions do you want to feel more of? And when you ask your mind, when you ask your heart those questions, your mind and your heart will answer. And then it's just a matter of taking inspired action towards those things that you want. So yeah, this video is definitely from the heart. I hope you guys are all, having a nice day wherever you are. And I'll talk to you later. All right. Take care.